audiences around the nation booed as RuPaul sent Ben DeLaCreme home after failing to lip sync for his life on RuPaul's Drag Race. Even though Bendela won the show's opening challenge, the judges said his looks on the runway were off the mark. This made no sense, since Ben looked flawless.
Ben ended up in the bottom two with Darienne Lake, who, like a pit bull, latched onto the ankle of Ben's ego early in the season and wouldn't let go. Many expected to see Darienne get her comeuppance for being an unreasonable bitch, but in the end, Ben sashayed away, leaving everyone to wonder what happened.
Today, we put a little Ben DeLaCreme into our coffee as he joins us to talk about his burlesque roots in Chicago, being gal pals with Season 5 winner Jinkx Monsoon, and how he used drag to overcome shyness.
Join us for this on all the hot news. Dolly Parton clarifies the decades-long lesbian rumors.
A new study says up-talking like a valley girl like this is really annoying and will cost you a job promotion.
Prince Harry says he'll go gay if he breaks up with his current girlfriend.
And all your questions. You don't want to miss the show. I'm Fausto Fernos.
I'm Mark Fillion.
And this is Feast of Fun.
Hey Hunty, we have a fierce, fabulous Hunty t-shirt for sale on our website, feastoffun.com/store. Feast of Fun is made possible because of financial support of listeners like you. Upgrade your account today and access all our shows with the world's top drag queens only at feastoffun.com/plus.
Hello, this is Ben DeLaCreme.
Hi, Ben DeLaCreme. It's Fausto Fernos.
And Mark Fillion from Feast of Fun. How are you today?
How are you doing?
Good, how are you guys?
Ben, the two of us need look no more. We both found what we were looking for. A knife to stab Darienne in the back.
Oh,
and
no.
you, my friend, will see you got a fan in me.
Yay.
Thank you. I've been waiting to sing that for years to you.
You've been working on that for a long time, have you?
We just came up with that little last minute.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, but you know what? I really, there's so much, I'm hearing so much kind of, I mean, I know a lot of it's in jest, but there's so much really negative stuff about Darienne that's not in jest that I am just like, oh, let's all just be nice to her. Because she didn't, you know, like the reality is Darienne didn't kick me off, Rue did, you know, so.
Okay, let me rewrite that. A knife to stab Rue in the back.
Well, don't do that because then I'll get sued or something.
Now, I know you well enough because you used to be a Chicago girl dancing here under the name of Tina Angst.
Tina Angst, 2 E's, yeah.
I know the look on your face when you feel like you've been fucked with.
Yeah.
And that look on the runway was like, oh no, she better don't.
Well, you know, I was surprised by it. Like, I wasn't actually expecting that outcome going into that challenge. Like, you know, and it's interesting because you see it on TV and you have a really different perspective because you know, when you're there, you know, the judges are talking for a long time and they can often be kind of cryptic and they can often contradict themselves. Like one week they'll say one thing. And when I say week, I mean day. And then they'll sort of say the opposite. So, but once I saw...
So you're like, I don't know what the fuck you want, you crazy bitches want.
Well, sometimes it was like, oh my God, we love your silhouette. We love like this thing you're doing. And then other time, and then it would be like, well, we've seen this a lot. And... you know, and that's not to say, you know, I certainly think the judges are trying to like give the feedback to like guide you in the direction they want. Just sometimes it can be really hard to interpret. But seeing it on TV, it's like all simplified and boiled down. So it's like, oh yeah, I missed the mark on that one. But going into that challenge, I felt really good about all my looks. I was like, oh, they love this silhouette and this burlesque thing. So I'll like keep giving it to them, but I'll like try to bump it up and like make it, you know, like give them a little, you know, like nude illusion, jewel tone. You know, I was, just trying to... I
kind of want to talk about your burlesque roots here in Chicago, because I was really surprised that they didn't have, like, a burlesque challenge for you guys, or anything that showcased your sensuality? Because you serve blow-up doll realness in a lot of your looks.
Ooh, how sensual, a blow-up doll.
But you have this like cheesecake, Veronica Lake 1950s sensibility, and I think like a burlesque challenge where you were forced to disrobe or titillate or tease the audience would have really worked in your favor.
Yeah. I mean, you know, but that's true of so many queens who go on there and like what the nature of the challenges are. You really don't. I mean, anybody who's had the experience of getting to know a queen through Drag Race and then going to see them live knows that Drag Race might give you a sense of some things about a queen or the person behind the queen, but you don't necessarily get a real good feel for what it is they do on stage. And so, you know, that's not like unique to me in that sense. But yeah, I mean, of course, I would have loved that opportunity because that is something that I think is sort of my wheelhouse.
What was the most exciting and satisfying moment of the series for you to actually experience in person? Well,
definitely that Snatch Game win was really amazing. You know, Snatch Game sort of feels like I mean, from my perspective, Snatch Game was the thing going in that I was most nervous about and like most wanted to succeed in. And
because you did Maggie Smith from, you know, Downton Abbey, but you had another. They make you come up with two choices, right? What was your other choice?
Well, originally I really wanted to do Miss Piggy, but of course she's a trademarked character, so you can't do that.
Oh, really? Can you give us some Miss Piggy on the phone right now?
Oh, RuPaul!
Yay! That's really good. Say, Kermie, I want you to fuck me up the butt. Pork me.
Oh my goodness. Kermie, pork me. Oh God, wait.
Do you know if you search Piss Miggy on YouTube, a friend of ours here in Chicago has a Miss Piggy doll, and he does this hysterical thing where he's a foul mouth Miss Piggy and Piss Miggy.
We heard some of the people talking about when they developed Miss Piggy, and they were, you know, came up with the concept, and they were like, well, what do we do for her voice? How do we do the voice? And they said, well, what would happen if a male truck driver woke up in the body of a female pig? What would that sound like? Oh and that's God. How they, so basically, you know, Miss Piggy is a trucker trans pig.
Well, I mean, it's like, I feel like as soon as I like figured out that, you know, because I always was in love with Miss Piggy as a kid, which I think a lot of our people were. But you know, as soon as I sort of like put it together that like, oh, Frank Oz voices this is like the first drag queen I was ever obsessed with, you know?
Yeah, that's true. And it kind of like had an influence on everything you did.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Miss Piggy, Girl Gremlin, Bugs Bunny whenever he put on a dress. Yeah, like those are my main drag influences.
I wonder if any of the drag queens both came up with the same character and started fighting and be like, I'm doing Anna Nicole Smith. No, I'm doing Anna Nicole. Because Anna Nicole Smith is a really easy character to imitate. All you need to go is say, trim spot, baby.
Yeah, you know, I mean, there's definitely like Anna Nicole's one of those things where there's so many indicators that it feels like broad enough to be super easy. But Adore's Anna Nicole was so specifically dead on that it was pretty impressive. I mean, because I've seen a lot of drag queens do Anna Nicole, and that was by far the most kind of transcendent version of that I've seen.
But Snatch Game is definitely a highlight of this season, and you know, congratulations for winning that particular segment. It was well done.
I know. I'm glad that homegirl, because I don't know you've been living in Seattle for a while, but we think of you here in Chicago as a Chicago girl.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, you know, I mean, I still think of myself as being from Chicago, even though I'm actually not from Chicago originally. But you know, I lived there for 8 years or something, and
a long time. Yeah, you were like performing in drag clubs here in town and with burlesque shows. And were you involved, or did you go see when Margaret Cho took all her clothes off?
I was in that show.
You were in that show. That's why I thought.
Yeah,
and you were. Remember that the audience didn't take too much of a shining to Margaret Cho's act.
You know, the thing is that it wasn't, you know, like when you're doing a show, you're like backstage fussing with things the whole time. So I actually wasn't privy to what happened on stage. So I don't actually know.
People were throwing starbursts at her.
Well, this is what happened. There was a mob of people that showed up just to see Margaret Cho naked. It was, you know, Margaret Cho takes it all off was you know, in the publicity materials. And she performed twice in the evening. And the first time, it was in the middle of the show. She never took anything off. And people were like, this is bullshit. And like half the crowd left.
Oh, really?
And then everybody started performing. And then she came out and she did this other crazy burlesque number with stuff that you would find at like a gift shop, you know? Like she would have to sashay away in the content. And so some audience member decided to start fucking with her and started throwing candy at her while she was stripping on stage.
Are you serious? What
yeah, it was really fucked up.
That's really fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah, the only performance I've ever seen people throw stuff at is Margaret Cho, and then Fifi O'Hara. People were throwing change at her.
Oh, it's awful.
It is awful.
Well, you know, I'm thinking about this Margaret Cho show, and because again, like I didn't actually.
Was that the Vic?
Yeah, I didn't actually get to watch the acts, but didn't she have I remember that there was an act that was a fan dance.
Yes.
Like, and I heard about it, I didn't see it, but then when she did her final reveal, she was wearing like a prosthetic penis.
That's correct, yes. We were all there. It was like a legendary moment.
But which one is that? Is that
That was the second one.
That was the second one,
yes.
And people didn't like it?
Well, people were like, huh? They were like, she has a penis?
Well,
what is that?
Like,
Because it didn't look like a penis.
The penis was the reveal. That was the end. And so then after that, she was off stage. So it was just kind of like the starburst and stuff like that. That happened beforehand.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think it's, I don't know what to make of that. I don't know what to say about that. Like, I think it's a shame because that actual event was Burlesque, and it was produced by the Sissy Butch brothers, and the whole thing was a fundraiser for the
Red's top surgery is what the rumor is.
No, it was a documentary they were making about Dixie. God, what was her name? I'm going to get this wrong and embarrass myself in front of the entire burlesque community. But this burlesque dancer named Dixie, whose last name is escaping me at the moment, was the founder of the Burlesque Hall of Fame in Las Vegas. And she's like, you know, was like the super legendary, famous burlesque dancer who then like was plunged into poverty and like lived in like a shack in the middle of the desert, essentially, where she kept all these burlesque memorabilia from sort of the heyday of burlesque, and people started coming to visit her there at this remote location, and it started building and building and building, and now it's turned into this burlesque festival that is started just as people visiting her in her little, you know, shanty where she had all her memorabilia, and now it's the biggest burlesque festival in the nation, if not the world. And so they were making a documentary about this woman's life, and that's what all those shows were fundraisers for.
Did the documentary ever get made?
You know, I don't know. I know that there was like they ran into a lot of hangups along the way. I don't know that it was ever released.
The rumor was that the money was all taken for somebody's top surgery.
Oh, well, I don't think that's a true rumor, but
it's not the truth.
You know,
hey,
we've often heard from people from past seasons on RuPaul's Drag Race that they'll wake up in the morning in their hotel room and they'll find like a checkout paper, like today you're checking out, and they're like, huh, I'm not checking out, and then that's the day that they up for elimination and go home.
Oh, Lord.
Did that happen at all this season?
That didn't happen to me. If it happened to anybody else, I don't know about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think after we've revealed it enough times, they stopped doing that.
Because it happened
practice,
on Mimi on first season. I want to say it happened the next season too, and the season before. Like there was 3 seasons.
Jiggly confirmed that. Manila Luzon confirmed that, and Mimi on first and Pandora have all said that.
Yeah.
So.
Wait, so they like. So if you were lip syncing but you weren't eliminated, you didn't get that slip?
Right.
No, they knew they were
like
going
the hotel
home
knew who was going home before like it was even announced. Yeah. So like Mimi, she like, well, you know, because you know the show's taped in 2 days. The first day you have that challenge, the next day is the runway. Well, the day you do the runway, Mimi wakes up and she finds a paper on the thing like, you know, here's your bill. You know, we're checking you out. Although even though the bill's is already taken care of.
Right.
And then it was just kind of like, and it happened to like several other people. So they're like, kind of like if you knew you got that bill, you knew you were going home.
Man. Well, yeah, no, nothing like that happened when I was there. That seems like not a great production decision, just because it seems like it would. Well,
I'm sure it was a fuck up. I'm sure it was somebody's fuck up.
Well, or
somewhere.
maybe they're just like trying to fuck with the performers' heads. I mean, do you feel like it was there was some psychological warfare happening behind?